Can you hit the big one? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Hi there everyone, welcome to the British town of Loughborough, where we've come to Queen's Park and the War Memorial Carillon Tower. James, look at that. That's pretty impressive. Now obviously it's a war memorial, but the thing we're interested in today is the Carillon. What is a Carillon? If only we had the Secretary of the British Carillon Society here to tell us. Scott Orr is the Secretary.
Indeed. So a carillon officially is an instrument of 23 or more bells hung in a tower, played from a keyboard that has batons kind of set up like an organ or a piano.
Okay.
This particular instrument actually has 47 bells.
Why 23? Why is that the threshold?
I think it emerged because it's more or less 2 musical octaves, missing a few notes at the bottom because it saves money.
Okay then. So as luck would have it, twice a week they play the carillon, and today, being Sunday, is one of those days, and it's all about to kick off.
Well, there's weekly recitals, as you just said, the 2 days. So basically, the carillon plays for an hour. We're pretty much allowed to play whatever we want, but ideally we always try and play a mix of things that people might recognise, some things that are maybe written just for the carillon, but really just trying to play things that bring people joy and that they can recognise and make a nice experience in the park.
And who does the playing normally?
So normally, the borough carillonneur is Caroline Sharpe. She's joining us today. She'll be around somewhere. I think we'll find her at some point. But there's a few of us who do it. You know, we're all part of the British Carillon Society. Obviously, playing twice a week, an hour-long concert each is quite a lot.
Yep.
So sharing that duty is quite useful, I think.
Are carillons common? How many are there around the UK, for example?
In the UK, there's only a few. There's 15, and that includes Ireland as well. So it's actually the British Isles, including Ireland and the United Kingdom. In England, there's only 6 or 7, I think. So they're relatively uncommon. Quite a few of the carillons produced in the world are actually produced right here in Loughborough, and they've been exported all over the world. So you'll find most of the instruments in the world either in the United States, but also in the Low Countries, in Belgium and the Netherlands.
Loughborough's a little bit proud of this carillon. In fact, the shopping centre is named after the Carillon Tower. You see, all the pubs are named after bells. Please, can we come up in the tower with you today for the recital?
Absolutely.
This is going to be amazing. We're going to go up into the tower for today's recital. Have a look at the bells, have a look at the batons. How many bells did you say?
47.
We're going to look at all 47 bells. I'm so excited. So Caroline's here now.
That's what I use.
We're going up. How many stairs have we got?
90 up to the clavier room, and then a few more.
Okay.
As you can see, the museum is under works.
Yes.
Yeah.
Museum's being refurbished.
He always surprises me when I come in.
Yeah.
Even though I know he's there every time. It's like, oh God, he's there. And what's really freaky is that when I come in, he's usually in a different position every time.
Ooh.
90-some steps is pretty reasonable for a carillon. Some
Okay.
of the towers in Belgium and the Netherlands can have several hundred,
Wow.
which you get used to if you do it a lot. Carillon playing really is just a subtle form of exercise.
Yeah.
Go back down.
Not as fit as I thought I was. All right, Scott. Caroline's brought us up to the top. I'm confused. I see batons here, but I see also something here. Where's the business end here?
Yeah, a common misconception or a challenge. This is the real one. This is the practice one.
Ah.
Obviously, playing an instrument that maybe several hundred people can hear, if you're not sure what you're doing, or if you're learning, or you're working on a new piece, maybe not the best thing to just sit down and play it without trying. So we use practice instruments like this, which basically have the same setup, but just don't make as nearly much noise.
Okay.
So we hit these xylophone bars, basically.
May I?
Yes. So thankfully, the carillon does sound a little bit more musical than that. But yeah, basically lets us make a lot of mistakes without having to bother anyone too much.
This is the real deal.
This is the real instrument, yes. This is the carillon.
If I was to smash one now, would the bell ring?
It would absolutely do so. One of the challenges of the instrument is that once you play a note, there's no getting rid of it. So if you are playing and you know, especially in these lower bells that are large and ring for a long time, if you hit the wrong one, there's no taking it back. It's done. And you just embrace it as a creative choice. Basically, this is a 4-octave musical instrument. So this is the space of 1 octave, and basically if you can picture a piano, for example, these are the white notes and these are the black notes. But you notice there's also pedals.
Yes.
They're not different bells. They're the same as the bottom half of the instrument. Partially just to allow us to do more things.
Yeah.
We can use our feet to play that as well, and also because they get heavier. You notice up here we have these turnbuckles. This is obviously a purely mechanical instrument, so when it gets hot and cold, everything changes size a little bit. And so to make sure that we can play the instrument sensitively, we can play it loud or as soft as we want, we use these turnbuckles to adjust in a very small way the distance between the clapper that sits inside the bell that hits it to make the sound and the actual bell. If you get it down to most of the way and then hit it quite fast, I think you're being too gentle with it.
Well, I know everyone's out there listening. I don't want people thinking there's some amateur up here.
When you go down to this bottom one, if I try to do that, so we can take it if we have lots of time, get it there, and then we can play it. But because of our legs, it's much easier with the feet to do that quickly.
Okay, and how far up are the bells above us?
Just a few meters. They're really not that far. Shall we go look?
Yeah. I'm not coming all this way, I'm not seeing the bells.
So when I say they're right above us, I'm not exaggerating, they're right here.
Oh, wow.
So you can see we start with the largest ones on the bottom. They're the closest to us.
They're really big.
That one is about 4 tons, that large bell right there.
That one on the right is the biggest?
Yeah.
Oh, this is amazing.
So the whole instrument was built in 1923, and all the bells are from then, actually except the largest one. Because of the connection between the bell foundry, which is also here in Loughborough, basically after the instrument had been installed for a few years, they weren't happy with that bell. So they actually, on their own cost, remade it to try and make it better. These rows of wires here, those are what we saw below. You know, there's nothing fancy to it. Those wires connect to the keyboard, and they come up, and then at the right point, they branch off to hit the bells. So you see the clapper is not that far away at all from the edge of the bell.
Yeah.
You already saw how hard it was to bring that clapper to hit the bell with your hand. So if it was any farther than that, it would be even more difficult.
There we go.
Yeah,
all right.
So these are all the small ones. Those are the ones that are about 6 kilograms by the time you get to the smallest one.
And some of these ones here haven't got clappers in them at all. Are they spares or something?
So they tried to cast duplicates. And basically when you hit the one key, it would ring both of the bells that were the same note at the same time. It never really worked. They couldn't get them to sound together close enough. So they've actually just been left here. They were disconnected a long time ago. And you can see here, obviously because it's a War Memorial Carillon, it was fully funded by the people of Loughborough and the community. So you can see there's lots of individual groups that have been named, and each bell was essentially a dedication to either specific people or by groups that had collectively experienced loss in the war.
Wow. What's the biggest bell called?
The Borden.
Do you hit that one a lot, or is that like for big finales, or is that, how many times would you hit that in an average song?
I mean, as much as you want to. Part of that is a musical thing, so it has to make sense in the song. So in this case, the Borden is attached to the C pedal, but it's actually an A-flat bell. In terms of it being a C pedal, if you're playing in C, you might play it quite a lot. If you're playing in a different key where maybe C isn't as important, then not nearly as much. But it's, in terms of arranging music for the Carillon or just playing on it, writing in C makes a lot of sense because you do get to use then the Borden as much as you want.
I would just whack that one all the time. That would just be all I would do. I just thump it 30 times and then go, thank you very much.
Very tempting. Yeah. Very tempting activity, to be honest.
Scott, this seems like such a niche instrument, right? I mean, I'm sure you didn't grow up with one of these in your house.
No, I did not.
How do you get into this?
I think most people stumble into it. So for me personally, I was studying at the University of Toronto and due to an interest in historic buildings, went up the tower at the centre of the campus, found the instrument and just thought it was interesting and strange. And fortuitously at the time, they were looking for students, so I got involved. But I think everyone has a similar story of just kind of stumbling upon it.
How did you get into it, Carol?
Just living here, living in Loughborough.
In Loughborough.
Just always knowing it.
Caroline's a fantastic musician. She's being humble.
So you were obviously already musical, and then you thought, all right, I'm going to upgrade to something massive.
Yeah, I asked the previous Carillionaire here, Peter Shepherd, was my piano teacher, and actually I came up here when I was 8 years old, and he was playing, and he let me have a little go. So that was my first experience, and then 10 years later I said, I want to learn to play the carillon. And he said, learn to play the organ first. And then I didn't, but I just ended up here.
That's so you come here and play this, and that's your childhood piano teacher there?
Yep.
It's a small world.
Ah. Is it tiring? Like at the end of a song, are you a bit pooped, or like it looks like a proper workout?
It is. It is. I think after an hour, you get pretty tired. You know, I think there's a reason people don't play more than an hour typically. There are some really great stories of carillonneurs historically who would actually get so warm when they were playing, they would like strip down to minimal clothing and then have people come in the tower unexpectedly. Like, I'm not going to do that, just so we're clear. So this is actually a piece of music that Caroline will know very well. It's called Memorial Chimes, or Memorial Chime, but it's actually written by Edward Elgar for this instrument. So he was invited to write this piece of music for it. He was sent some sample scores and had a bit of help. Never saw the instrument in his life. Just had a little bit of guidance and a little bit of, you know, this is what music for the instrument looks like, and wrote this piece. It's pretty good considering he never saw the instrument, right?
Amazing. Another thing, on Objectivity, we love gloves. Tell me about your gloves.
Right, yeah.
Are these like specialist carillonneur gloves?
I would like to say so, and actually we were just discussing them. These are my £1.50 gardener gloves.
But why are the fingers cut? Like?
Just to help grip a little bit. Carillon keyboards are always made of wood. It's just there so we can grip, and again that's the whole idea of being able to put the keys low, so that from here I can play very quietly or very loudly. Carillon's got better gloves than I do.
Oh, you've got gloves?
Let's see them.
Oh, no, that's proper. I can't play anything. I just want to hit the big one.
That's playing.
Yeah.
It's definitely still playing. So don't worry.
Is this the big one?
Yeah.
Should I do it?
Yeah. It's a good bell, isn't it?
Feel the power. It is so loud up here when those bells are going. It's crazy. James has got earplugs in. They've actually also given us a key to have a look from the viewing deck. Do you want to check out the view? I know you do. Are new carillons being made, or are you always stuck playing on old ones?
Yeah, new carillons are made every year. A smaller number, let's be honest. But at least, I think 1 or 2 a year are being built. Again, some still here in Loughborough, some in the Netherlands, some in the States now.
And how many have you played on?
I have no idea. Couple tens or dozens, but in quite a few countries.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You haven't got a list at home or something, or like a...
You know, for my love of Excel sheets, that's one that's missing. I should definitely make that one.
And have you got like a bucket list carillon that you want to play on one day?
All of them.
All of them.
You know.
You could do that. You should make that your challenge to play on everyone around the world.
It's only about 700 of them.
700? That's completely doable.
That sounds like a lifetime of work, doesn't it?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'll start with one in each country. I'll start with that first.
Yeah, or like the 7 carillon challenge. Are there like 7 classics or something you could do, or like the 7 peaks?
I was just thinking maybe the idea is to think about like the 3 Peaks challenge. Can you play all the carillons on this island in 24 hours? Are you in?
How cool would that be?
We're doing a road trip.
We'll get a car, we'll get the keys to all of them. 24 hours, you have to play every single one in the UK.
That would be brilliant. It's just because Aberdeen is so far.
How have you not done that yet?
I don't know. It's a very good question.
And there's only 15 in the society. You could all get in a van and do it together.
Thankfully, 15 carillons, slightly more members, thankfully.
Oh, wow. You heard it here first. This is where the idea was born. Think of all the publicity you'll get. Like,
the news will not know it hit it.
I'm proper scared now. I'm so scared. So this is the corona at the center of the dome, and we can walk out over this like mesh. Like, I'm looking right down to the center of the hole. I'm extremely scared. I don't want to walk to the middle, but I want to impress Liz with how brave I am. Oh my God.
You can do this.
I couldn't be more scared. It flexes.
Oh.